Get 5 coffins ready.
This season brought forward a few item shifts and even a few new and returning items. So with that in mind, let's take a look at 5 item interactions, one for each class, that you should be aware of this season to help get yourself out of your Season 10 comfort builds a bit. My item combo for Assassins is Conquest specific unfortunately, but every other item interaction in this video will be fine to use in any game mode. Alright, so this one is for all my support friends out there, all 2 of you. So what you can do here for some free damage, basically while keeping yourself tanky in the support role or while playing a Guardian, is, well, Mystical Mail. Mystical Mail is very good, right? It is a little expensive, 2,400. It's kind of expensive for a Guardian, especially if you're in the support role in Conquest. Look at this, 40 prots, 200 health, 20% crowd control reduction. That's very good, especially in this super aggressive meta. You're just fighting all the time, people are looking for picks all the time, so this works. But look at this, 37 damage a tick, not bad. Go over here to someone who's level 20 though, only 30 damage a tick. Oh, fruit! That's not very much at all. But what we can do is get a brand new item. Void, something or other. It's only 2,300, and check the stats. 60 magical prots, very good. 150 health, pretty good. 35 MP5, whoa, excellent. That's really good, especially for someone like Kuzenbo here. But most important of all, other than the passive, 20% crowd control reduction. So with these 2 items, boom, you get your full 40% crowd control reduction. You're chilling, you're cooking, you got both types of prots, you got CCR, this is insane. And the best part is, check it out. Boom, Mystical Mail does more damage because it does magical damage. And since you're a Guardian, you're doing magical damage. Now this isn't exclusive to Guardians, Warriors are doing this too, because Mages aren't that good, so you only really need 1 magical defense item, and if you go Mystical, you can just grab this, and it's fine. And if you want to know what I would do for a build, well, let's just restart the build. We have to be in the shop to redo the build, don't we? What I do for a basic support build that incorporates Mystical Mail is something like War Flag, and then into Prophetic or Gauntlet, it depends on the character, whether or not you can proc Prophetic often. And then into 1 physical defense item, this can be Contagion, Breastplate, whatever you want really. You can get Spectral super early if you'd like, but really you like the spike of something like a Breastplate or the anti-heal something like a Contagion first. And then you go into your Mystical, because remember, physical defense is much more important than magical, so we can delay our magical, and then go Void. And then last can be whatever. Pridwin is good as well, not only because it gives you 20% CDR. Obviously in this build, you'd want to go something other than Breastplate, but anywho, keep in mind, Pridwin is very strong right now. This does magical damage as well, so that is also going to be enhanced by your Void. Something like that, super basic. And also the Pridwin could be a Spectral, a Stone of Binding if you'd like, to be just a little bit more tanky and you don't really value the CDR. And of course, Stone of Binding would also increase your Mystical Mail damage and your damage overall. So lots and lots of little ways here to give yourself just that extra little boost. Extra little boost of damage that you might just need to carry your ranked games, carry your teammates who are missing every single basic attack, and that teammate's, alright, that teammate's me. Now this next one is pretty much the exact same idea, just for my warrior friends. Unfortunately, basic attack based warriors, attack speed warriors, those are the strongest ones right now. And, you know, for gods like Bologna and so on, you can just go Phalanx first and then into Berserkers. Boring. But then someone like King Arthur, who relies on Glad Shield, look at this, So 20 and 10 for my Glad Shield damage, but then I go to this guy, oh, fruit, it's only doing 13 and 7. Oh man, that's not much at all. Guess what we can do? Boom. Another new item, returning item, Void Shield. Now, Void Shield is pretty expensive, but it is an excellent way to keep your damage up. And of course, there's tons and tons of little ways that you can boost your damage as a warrior. I mean, you got your Rune Forges, your Blackthorns, and so on. Blackthorn's not great, but anyways, you have your Rune Forge, so you can enhance your damage exponentially while keeping yourself tanky, just like with the Void Do-Re-Mi. So let's see how much we're doing now. Bang, 22 off the rip. Look at this guy go. What's he up to? He's going insane. He's pressing his buttons. Boom. So this little combo here, obviously just for your ability-based warriors, and unfortunately it's all auto-attack warriors right now. Gods like Vamana, Osiris, Bologna, those seem to be the best right now. But if you like to actually have fun, then you can use this little trick. Glad Shield and Void Shield together, absolutely crazy. Lets you win a lot of trades. It's just... Look at the cost if you go Phalanx and Berserkers together. It's those are both cheaper than Glad Shield and Void Shield, so nerf them. Oh, right, and if I was going to do, let's just give you a full build. Why not? People have been asking. Pretty basic stuff. You almost always want to go Warrior's Axe. Warrior's Axe is just very good. On King Arthur, you could probably go Bluestone still, just because he has 8 abilities, and now probably want to go Bluestone. Generally speaking, Warrior's Axe is the way to go, and remember, of course, that also scales with your Glad Shield. So you get increased damage because of the high protections on Void Shield, which, by the way, is the most out of the entire tree, so that is a plus. It helps justify the gold cost. So you get bonus damage on Glad Shield for that. So you go Glad, Void Shield, boom. Huge power spike there. Glad Shield gives you good damage, Void Shield gives you great damage. And then from there, it's mostly just situational. Say we could just slap a Rune Forge on there, why not? Or a Stone of Binding, something like that. Keeps Glad Shield damage up. Another little combo I see is Glad Shield into Mystical, but I think Void Shield gives you a better power curve. But obviously the idea there is you go Glad Shield, Mystical Mail, and then the other Void item we talked about earlier, Do-Re-Mi here. But instead with this build you can go something like Genji's. Then depending on the god you can go something like Spectral, Bird One. They have very flexible builds, just build tanky. Definitely that's the main thing, just build tanky. Neith, you're wanted for crimes against humanity. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Where's she gone? See, I didn't even pop my Stone of Gaia. This next one is more of a fun one, and it's not really applicable to too many gods because not everyone goes Eye of the Jungle, and of course, you can't really use that outside of Conquest either because Eye of the Jungle is awful outside of Conquest. But the idea here is using Transcendence with Protector of the Jungle. Now, Protector of the Jungle fell off just a smidge because Seer of the Jungle has that 25% attack speed on it and a little bit more physical protection all the time. And as we know, physical protection, way more important at the moment, so this just lets you kind of fight people better. When it comes to late game, you spam all your abilities, do similar damage to Protector of the Jungle, except you have attack speed. That's the appeal of Seer of the Jungle, although, if you go Protector with Transcendence, it's kind of insane, because it gives you plus 15% power, so it scales up Transcendence massively, because Transcendence is the most power possible with one single item, and of course Transcendence now gives you penetration as well, so it's kind of sick nasty. So let's buy Protector here. And I think if we go over here, it'll pop the passive. So we're at 115 just with these two items. Go into the jungle. Well, bam, 133. So now we can, let's just do the complete build right now. And to be clear, you don't want to rush Transcendence. It is a stacking item, but it's very cumbersome. It's the damage is terrible early. So you want to go your typical, something like Jotun's Hydras. And then Transcendence here. You can actually scale that up pretty well. You can go Serrated or Titans here. Either one's fine. It's just for the percent pen. That's the reason you're getting it. And Heartseeker last. There you go. 261. Now we're going to want to walk into the jungle. Well, bam. 301 powerful build. That's pretty nice. But okay. Let's cut it back. What can you actually use outside of Conquest? You can do the exact same thing, just with Bluestone instead. And you can rush Transcendence. The main thing here is Transcendence with Heartseeker. Transcendence has the flat pen, a lot of power, and Heartseeker scales off of your power. These two together, Trans Heartseeker, I mean, it's been a thing for years in Smite now, but yeah, nasty combo. Really, really nasty combo. So let's just one-shot a Neith real quick. Coming in hot, heard me. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so you guys probably saw this next one coming. So you can go about 1,000 different directions with hunters right now. It really just depends on what you're up against. Sometimes you need double lifesteal, sometimes you want to go crit. Well, most of the time you want to go crit, to be honest. But sometimes you got to go attack speed instead because they have a Kuzenbo or a lot of thorns. But basically what it boils down to is Deathbringer Glyph. This one right here, Devoted Deathbringer. This is what you want to play around when it comes to your crit. And, you know, power spiking as a hunter, this is the most important role to get your build right and make sure you're getting the best power spikes possible. So you don't want to just, like, rush into Deathbringer. But the thing is, let's just go Devoted Deathbringer, Rage, and Ornate Arrow, which is the upgrade to Gilded Arrow, which is one of the best starters right now. It works really well with Golden Shard. So without stacked Rage, just these three items alone, we have 5 stacks on our Devoted Deathbringer. Let's boost it up. 110 power with all this. Now that is obviously because infinite gold in the training mode, so I have Ornate Arrow at max stacks. You're not going to have Ornate at max stacks. If you don't know, this item scales off of how much gold you have. That's what scales off. So if you just bought an item, you're going to have no Ornate stacks. So the power will go down a little bit, but regardless, it's a pretty crazy combo. You can't really go this outside of, in Conquest, but outside of Conquest, you can actually go these items just fine because the power curve matters a little bit less in other game modes because obviously they're faster. So if I were to build this, I mean, with Rage, it's not very good. You need to have a very, very heavy stim, like someone like Rom with a 60% stim if you want to make Rage work. But let's say you wanted to. Let's go ahead and do it. So I'll go Gilded probably, and we only have room for one lifesteal item. So if you have room for only one lifesteal item, you want to going Devourer's Gauntlet, but if you're able to buy a double lifesteal, you can go Crimson Claws and Aussie I found is the best, or you can go Crimson Claws and Bloodforge, but Bloodforge is a little expensive, so but you don't want to go Crimson Claws alone. Crimson Claws alone is terrible, so don't do that. But okay, from here, Devs, Dom. Dev's Dom, I would say, is probably the best feeling power spike, but obviously you're lacking a little bit in attack speed, so again, you're relying on your stim a little bit, so it depends on the character you're going. So you can just go Rage, Deathbringer, Xe, and you want to hold off on getting this glyph until you have Ornate, in my opinion. And then Xe last, because you really can't apply Xe very well until your full build. It scales up better once you have more power. Dom is just good right off the rip, so that's why you want to get that earlier, even though it is more expensive than Xe, obviously. And obviously you want green Xe glyph, and then Ornate Arrow. And let's just stack everything up. And let's go one-shot a Neath again. And hold on, I caught it. Don't worry, guys, I caught it. Bye, Neath. Yeah. So again, Rage, kind of whatever. I mean, it's you buy it and you only get 30 power, but decent amount of critical strike chance, but it's your only crit item, so it's not being 35% critical strike chance isn't too much. You could just go Demon Blade instead, which is 20%, gives you attack speed, gives you the same amount of power, and obviously a little bit of physical penetration, which works with your dominance to give you really good tank damage. I mean, this build's fine too. This is more what you would actually go, but if you want to go crazy, you want to go nuts, you can go Rage instead. Alright, so mages, as I mentioned, not too great, and also a lot didn't change about them, really. All they did is kind of get worse, because they don't have that mage passive anymore. So, I'm going to give you a fun one, and then one that's pretty good. So, more fun one, something like this. Thoth, Warlocks, pretty strong stacking together. Most mages can get this done very easily, because I mean, if you're playing a mage right now, you want them to do oh dear god levels of damage. You don't want to just like spam out little damage here and there. That's not good. That's not going to work right now. What's meta right now is burst, and mages aren't doing that too well right now, because I mean, literally every mage got nerfed because they don't have the mage passive anymore. So you need to really beef up that damage, make it nice and big. So what I do for funsies, if you really just want to one-shot people, I mean, here's what you can do. Thoth, Warlocks, there's something like Poly, Typhons, maybe not in this order, Mirrodin. And what this will give you, once you get all of your items, of course, is 30% CDR, whole lot of power, and a Poly on top. And what you can do with Persephone, for example, is something a little bit like this with this build. Boom. Boom. Something like that. Mirrodin Staff on Persephone is really good anyways. Oh, I hit her again. Whoops. So obviously, you can still go all this. I mean, this is just 300 mana and stuff. All the mana stuff works off the Thoth. That's why that's there. But you could go something like a Spear of Deso instead. Power is actually significantly less, because 300 mana on Poly actually gives you a lot of power with Thoth. But the problem here is that Typhons, for example, not really, it kind of pales in comparison to Obsidian Shard, because Obsidian Shard is really important to try and make that, again, the huge burst impact. And let's do that with the ultimate. Boom, boom, boom. Perfect. So would I actually go Thoth Warlocks? Actually, kind of, yeah, I probably would. Just swap Typhons out for Obsidian Shard, and it does a little bit more damage. Of course, here you can go Alternative Timeline as well, but again, in my opinion, if you're playing a mage, you gotta just go for the one-shot right now. Otherwise, there's not really a reason to play them. Other than if you're like playing Thoth or someone who's like, they actually do a bajillion damage even if you go Alternative Timeline, yeah, you can do that. So this is with Obsidian, so the ult did a lot more damage. I still got the Mirrodin proc, which means my abilities did a lot of damage. So yeah, I wish mages were a little more interesting, we could do a little bit more fun things. I mean, double stacking's fun. That is fun. I like that. Can you stop hitting me now, please? So there's a few new item interactions for you guys to play around with in your builds. There's some new stuff being found every day in this season, so keep an eye open on new and exciting ways to optimize your builds. As for me though, that about wraps things up. Thank you for watching.